we are going to talk about building income that lasts through real estate. So this is a little bit different. Like I said earlier, a little bit advanced, a little bit down the road, but ultimately this is what we should be looking towards, because I can tell you flipping and wholesaling and landlording is exhausting when you do it a lot, right? Who's in here? I mean, Jonathan, he just told me, he's like, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm done, right? 50 doors. He's like, that's it. That's all you ever need. No more hustling. Just relax. Okay. So, it's a lot of work, and it's active. The thing with the real estate, when you're flipping and wholesaling and buying rentals, it's active. It is active income. And so, it's just like another job. Yeah. It might be a fun job and a high paying job. But it is another job that, once you do it for a little while, you will probably start to think, how do I get out of this job? How do I stop doing this job? And so that's how you build the income that lasts. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to drive through that. We're going to drive with a couple of points. This is not everything. Again, we have a full day workshop that we're going to do in December. And so there's a lot more to this, but I'm going to give you all a couple of high level tactics, strategies that you can take from today and get started. Okay. All right. So when we started, Michelle and I, we had a need. We wanted financial freedom. Who can relate to that? Yes. I will tell y'all one thing right now. Don't put financial freedom in Facebook. They will ban you. They'll shut you down. They won't let you talk about it. And I don't know why, but I've heard multiple people get in trouble for that. They'll hide you or ban you or shut you down, right? It's probably because it's a buzzword, and it probably leads down some scams and things like that. So when y'all hear financial freedom, who in here thinks scam? Does anybody think scam? Yeah, you can be honest. It's okay. If you're thinking, oh, that could be a scam, it's probably because you've been at one of those events, or you've seen one of the people on YouTube, TikTok, whatever else they're on now. And they probably are a scam. Let's just be honest. There are people out there that will use that and throw it out at you because they know that that's what a lot of us are looking for. And it sounds good. It rolls off the tongue, and people click it and we'll get scammed. So we'll kind of see that. We're talking about building income that lasts. One of those things you have to be thinking is how to not lose it. How to not get scammed, how to not make bad decisions that sound good in the moment and you move too fast, okay? So we wanted rentals and cash flow. Who can relate to that? Yes. Really, we didn't care. Honestly, we didn't really care about the rentals per se, like the actual activity. Where's Bishop? Bishop's here now. Bishop's our property manager, and he'll tell you, I'm not a good property manager. I'm not good at a lot of that now that I think about it. There's a lot of things I'm not good at. What? Yeah, why are you in here? I don't know. Because I've realized that. And so Bishop is amazing at it. And that's not what we weren't really looking for the rental properties. What we were looking for was the cash flow. Was a way that we could have income, checks, cash, $100, $150, $200 a month hitting the bank account every single month while we were doing other things. Okay? Obviously not being a landlord, getting someone else to do that. So we decided we had to flip houses to get the capital to get those rentals. Is anybody else kind of feeling that too? Kind of short on capital, even though consistent capital is back there, you still got to start somewhere. You like how I did that? Yeah. There's your plug. $50. Let me have it. No shit. All right. So, in order for us to keep that capital moving, we had to BRRRR. Y'all feeling the same? Like, this is not unique. I'm asking this because this is not unique. We weren't special. This is how most people, and this is why real estate is so amazing, because you can literally start from zero and do these steps, follow this plan, the strategy, and you could do the same thing. You could do that. Okay. So this was kind of the path for us. After we had a couple rental properties that weren't doing well, I found this book. An agent gave me that book and said, hey, you can actually make money with those houses you've been buying. I was like, oh, really? I didn't know that. I thought they were just for retirement. So we learned how to buy rental properties that would actually cash flow, that would make money for us. This is where we said, hey, we're going to have to flip. We're going to have to flip the houses to get more capital to do these rental properties so that they can cash flow. So that was our first flip on purpose. I call that flip on purpose because we bought that knowing we would sell it. Even though I love that house. It's like my favorite little craftsman style, built in like 1910. Love those things. But we sold it. And then, of course, we knew we had to BRRRR it. And on this day, I told you a lot of this came from the kids and the family. On the day that Emery was born, we had signed the paperwork to sell Clark Street, and we were signing paperwork on the offer for Rosewood. And I'll show that to y'all in a little bit. But that was a 5-unit that we ended up moving the capital from the flip into the rental property. Y'all tracking that? That's the flow, okay? So that's how we moved from the active flip, into building long-term wealth, okay? So everybody wants to flip, right? Everybody want to flip? No, not now. I've already scared some of you. Like, no, heck no. It's a terrible idea. Well, it started from, who knows these guys? Fixer Upper? Yeah. Hey, Joe, what's up? Chip, my man. Do y'all know Domar? Any of y'all know Domar? Oh, he's the best. He's the best because this is his truck. It is amazing. You would love it. It's 6 wheels, zombie house flipper, zombie house buyer. He's in Tampa. He's actually, I think he's in Jacksonville, but we're in the same mastermind. So we always hang out in Tampa, and he's driving this big truck, but he's literally my size. Like he's my size. I'm like, Domar, I wish I could do that, but I have a thing. I couldn't. So, but that's Zombie House Flipper. It is Tampa. Zombie House Flipper Tampa. So that one, y'all should check that one out. But anyway, income versus building wealth. Income is the flips. Y'all got that? Income, active income is the flips. You're taxed as income. It doesn't really get fun until you have a rental property that you could depreciate, and then the active income starts to not get diminished as much because of your depreciation. I'm not a CPA. We're not going into that today. Longer discussion. But the freedom of real estate really does come from your assets, holding on to a couple of them, holding on to some rentals, and smartly, wisely putting them into play, and building up from there. Okay. Not always a rental. It could be your investment capital as well. So you flip for the capital, but the freedom comes from the wealth that you're generating. All right. So we're going to jump into, this is the first part of how you get to building the wealth, and which is the fuel. Flipping is our fuel. Does that make sense? Has anyone thought about flipping as just the beginning? Yeah. A lot of people that I talk to and come into this community here, it's like flipping's the goal. Like, that's all I want to do is flip. And I'm going to tell you, flipping is just the fuel for that fire that real estate is. And you can do it forever. Like, you can flip thousands of houses. We just had our call this afternoon with OfferPad Renovate, and they do 400 to 600 houses every single month. And that's about 100 to 150 to 200 for other investors every single month. On, what do you have a specifically on my opinion? Like, yeah, I mean, it's fantastic because if you want to flip, you want to put your money in there and get those higher returns, but you don't want to be the person swinging the hammer or managing the contractors. It's fabulous to plug into any business. There's a lot to it. I don't want to really, again, getting into it. OfferPad also will sell you some deals. So we did learn that. You can go on their website and you can, anything that they don't want to buy, they'll send it out to other investors. Right. But they were not very good at it. So just my opinion. So So the fuel gets your wealth engine going. So start talking in net worth, wealth. Start examining and counting your net worth. Okay. That's something, in the boot camp or the workshop we'll go through with the cheat sheet of how to just, you plug it in, you start it, and you can probably go on Excel and download one right now, where it's a net worth calculator, and you just update that every month or every week. Every week is great. Every month is like mandatory, and you should see that going up. When you do deals, it should go up. So if you flip a house, you put in, that's income, right? You put more cash in your bank, hopefully. And so that cash in the bank, that does count as your net worth. That's money. That's an asset. But if you buy and hold a rental, you get that little bit of cash flow, but you get a big net worth hit. So that's why you should be looking at that net worth as well as the cash flow. Okay. And so it's flipping should not be a guessing game. It shouldn't be gambling like I put here. It is a system. It is a strategy. It's like, it's like a board game. I hate to say Monopoly, but it is. There's a strategy to it. And if you repeat it over and over again, you can beat your kids at Monopoly all the time. Trust me, I know. Dominate those kids. They can't handle it. So it's just math, right? It's math, good management, and then good stewardship. Okay. So I'm just going to give you the example of this one here. This was Clark Street that I told you about. Just kind of the backstory, how we ended up with that. Michelle and I said we wanted to flip houses. Michelle said, don't touch my bank account. You got to use your own money, which if y'all don't know, like our money it's really all her money. So we had both our names on there, but she said, that's mine. You can't touch that money, which I get. She was like, that's the diaper money, right? And so we had some business income. We had a business. We had an LLC, and I could borrow in there. But we just took a loan from her 401k and then took out a personal loan from USAA in order to buy this and flip it. And so we were able to buy that. This was like the glory days looking back. And we bought it on auction.com. It was like 30 or I think it was only 35,000. And it was, you can't find that today. I'm sorry, guys. You should have started back then. This is like 2015, 16-ish. But anyway, so we bought it and renovated it, and then we're able to sell it and make about a $30,000 profit right then and there. And now that was great. It was fantastic. We could have put that money in the bank. We could have paid off the loan that we used, but we didn't. What we did is, when we sold the house, of course, we got the proceeds from the loan back, right? So that money that came back into our account. Now we could have paid those off, or we're looking for long-term. We're looking for a long-term plan here, a business. So we kept going, kept rolling, and we took that $30K and then flipped it right into Rosewood. So this is a property on Rosewood that we've since sold. Sold it, I think, during COVID when I thought that was the top of the market and it'd never go crazier. Here I am thinking I should have held on to it a little longer, but it made sense. So we sold that. But Rosewood, so that was a 5-unit. So that 5-unit actually brought in, I think I have the numbers on here. But anyway, the 5-unit was bringing in about $750, $800 each unit. And so you add that up and we were able to make some cash flow on that and then BRRRR it out. So I talked about that earlier. We renovated it a little bit, got the rents up. We BRRRR'd that $30K out. And so now we have another $30K. And with that second $30K, we have BRRR'd it out. Second flip was finished. So we had another flip done. We brought in like 20, 25,000, somewhere around there. Gave us the down payment for Sheffy, which is a 10-unit mobile home park. So 10-unit mobile home park we bought for like $235. And at that time, I think it was renting at like $4,000 to $5,000. I think it was $4,500 a month. So that's pretty good cash flow. But we turned it around pretty quick and got those rents up to $5,000, $6,000, and now $7,000, maybe $7,500 now, I think, because Bishop's the man. He's raising those rents, right? Bishop's like, no, probably not. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Bishop. Don't break it. Well, it's November. We don't need AC units. Yeah, none of that AC mess. Open the windows. But all that's fun. All that's great. It looks cool. It's fun on Instagram or whatever to take these pictures. But what it really did is it built our net worth in the business. And then, as Michelle and I, on our account, by a couple $100,000 each time. And that's not because we were super smart or got some crazy deal. It was what was there, but it's how the real estate works. When you raise rents, you raise value, and it's just a compound effect. And we're not going to get into all of that math, but the raising rents of $1,000, which, if y'all look around right now, Bishop can tell you, he runs the reports for us all the time. Raising rent for a 5-unit, that's only $200 per unit, is usually pretty easy when people have owned them for a while. When I told you I was a bad landlord, I would never raise rents because I'm a terrible landlord. Guess what most landlords don't do out there? They don't raise rents. And guess what some of the property managers don't do? They don't raise rents. Or they go, hey, well, we're going to raise them like $20 this year. It's been a tough year. And I'm like, everybody else is going up $250. What are you doing? And property managers don't want to lose the tenants either. Right? So a lot of landlords, a lot of old rentals are just way behind. So you look for those when you buy them. But what happened is when you grow and now we have a $350,000 net worth, guess what we could do with that? Does it just sit there? No. We can borrow against it. We can then leverage it. We can, just put it up as collateral and get other loans. It goes onto your balance sheet, and now you actually have a business that people will look at. Okay, that makes banking way easier. Okay, so this was when we were first getting started, and I didn't know how it would turn out, that it became so much easier to work with banks when this happened, when that net worth just shot up. Michelle and I both had full-time jobs. We had W-2, and we were just using regular banks. When they saw that, they got excited and things got easier. Some of y'all experienced that already. Some of y'all are seeing that now. All right. So when you're looking at doing this, who in here is like, this is too much? Who's already like, I'm out. It's way too much. Nobody? We got the right room? We got the right room. You're at least going to give it a shot, right? I'm not saying that every one of your deals is going to be like this. Most likely they won't. Most likely, and unfortunately, most likely everyone in here, or most people in here, won't do a deal like that, right? They don't come around all the time, but they are there. And this is what you're looking for, right? You're looking for something that can compound some cash flow and look at the net worth growth. Look at what you can do. Mobile homes, unfortunately, are incredible cash flow as a mobile home. You don't really get into that net worth until you start detitling, right? Am I right? And you put them on some land, and you use I got another plug, and then you use a rehab wallet, and you can do the land deal and refinance, something like that. So mobile homes are great, but no, they're terrible. Don't do it. But this 10-unit mobile home park, the reason it actually got valued as high as it did is because it was a park, it was a business, it had land, right? It wasn't just a single mobile home. Okay. So that's how you can build your freedom. This is how it's built, one deal at a time, just taking that one step at a time. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So using the right people, finding the right people is how this is going to help you all in this room. So this is why we talk about getting connected. This is why we have this room. This is why we bring such amazing people in here. And then with our partners and our mastermind, when we bring people from across the country to talk, we select them on purpose. And so when we first got started flipping houses to buy rentals, we just talked about Kelly and Russ were our first coaches. Those are the first people that coached us specifically for flipping houses and buying rentals for cash flow. Okay. And so we connected with those people and they helped us build that. There might be somebody in this room right now that can help you with your next step. We talked about that earlier. There's contractors, there's flippers, mobile homes, whatever it is, right? Land. There's all of that could be in this room, but also it could be around you outside of this room. So as I'm talking, is anybody thinking of a person? Just nod your head or raise your hand. Are you thinking of a person around you that could actually be helpful in finding some of these deals and plugging in? As we're coming up to Thanksgiving, this is always awkward when you go to Thanksgiving and people are like, well, what are you doing? And you're like, I'm buying houses. I'm flipping houses. What's your mom say when you say that? Yeah. What are you crazy? It's actually my mom was like, that's great. Way to go. Whatever. I think it's the brother. My brother is the more pessimistic. He's like, you're going to lose your money. Shut up. No, I'm not. So, but there's somebody at your table, right? There's somebody at Thanksgiving that's going to try to poke holes in your business. There's somebody at that table that's going to say you're crazy. There's somebody that's going to try to bring you down. Why is that? They don't know. They what? They don't know it. Yeah. Mindset. They're scared and they want you to be scared. So I'm going to challenge you all as you go to Thanksgiving. You don't have to change their mind. You just say it, you speak it, and you look for the person at your table or in that room that's listening and not speaking. That's the one that's getting it. Okay? Do that at work, do that here, other places where you meet people. That person that's listening and they're kind of like, they're not speaking, they're not talking negative, they're just kind of digesting it. Those are the folks that are getting it and they want to know more. They want to learn more. They might ask you afterwards. If not, you find them, grab them, in a quiet spot and just say, hey, introduce it to them. This is one of the tricks for our deal partners. Usually this time of year, I'm like, hey, Thanksgiving coming, time to find a new private lender. You're going to be around a lot of people. They already love you. They already trust you. They already know you. So be thinking about it, all right? But here's my warning. The bishop. Do you remember lobby lizards? Yeah, you probably don't. This is like old school hotel term. The lobby lizards are the people that are just like hanging out in the lobby. They're supposed to be somewhere else, but they're not where they're supposed to be. They're just out there talking. Whenever you go to a convention, you go to a meeting, they're the ones that aren't listening to anybody that's speaking on stage. They're over there having their sidebar conversations. They act like they know it all. They got it all. They don't need to listen. Don't let those folks derail you. Like if you're in here and you go out into the room over here and you're having a conversation, you're talking, somebody's pulling you away from where you need to be. They're distracting your mind. Those are people that will take you off track. Okay. It doesn't have to be an event like this. I just use that analogy because that's just what I used to think of them as, is just, they're just hanging around and their whole purpose is to just be a distraction. So don't let those people distract you. Who's now thinking of somebody that could be a partner, private lender, do a deal together, and then who's also thinking of their distraction? Y'all give me two hands if you got them both. Yep. See? They're there. Just giving you the warning, all right? Who to look for. All right, so we're going to talk about, that's finding your flips. Let's talk about lending for freedom. Who in here right now is a private lender already? Anybody? Actually, don't raise your hands. People will be tacking you. Don't do it. It's scary. Don't do it. Everyone will come trying to get money. Don't do it. So, but lending is that's the spot to be. If you talk to anybody that secretly raise their hand, they're like, yes, this is my favorite place to be, because the money is working for you. You're still in real estate, and you can be doing whatever you want to do and your money is working while you're doing that. So it lets you stay in the game without the daily grind of real estate. Okay. Why might that be helpful for some people? Anybody here that might find that helpful? Yeah. Yeah. You don't have the time or the energy. Yeah. Yeah. In your golden years. I like that. Yes. That's where I'm going in my golden years. So sometimes it's not the right season for flipping, right? I would say, when Michelle and I embarked on this journey with two babies and one on the way, it probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. It was not the right season. But we did have the conversation, and she's like, hey, go for it. I want you, I was there for dinner time. I was there to wake the kids up, and I went to work. And during my work hours, I had some flexibility. And then after kids went to bed, I had some flexibility, right? So we were able to make it work. But that was a season of insaneness that had to stop. So it was like that 2 years, that was it. Thankfully, I did, quote, retire at the end of that. So your career might be so demanding. It could be a highly paid career, right? And lending would make a lot of sense. Although flipping is fun. We already talked about how much fun it could be. It may not make sense. It might take your mind, your energy away from what's actually providing for your family. But you still want the benefits of real estate, right? You still want the passive income. You still want the wealth generation. You still want to earn from the real estate market. So that's where lending can come into play for some people. Some people are active already. They're using other people's money to do their deals, and then they'll put their money out with someone else. Why would you do that? What's the word we're looking for? Better rate? Mm-hmm. What's everybody talks about the stock market? Diversification. It's just putting it in different places. You might be doing deals here, but then you'll lend to somebody in like Georgia, or something like that, just to get a taste of a different market. And that just spreads your risk. Okay. But you don't have to sit on the sidelines if you're too busy. And as you move in and you get tired of doing flips and wholesaling and hustling mobile homes, right? When you start to wear out, you're like, all right, I'm going to put some of this money on the street. Okay.
Thanks for listening to the REI Deal Finders podcast. You can find out more and apply to be a part of the REI Deal Finder community at reidealfinders.club.